So today's the announcement day for the new Lumix camera, and we're all sort of assuming that it's going to be the GH7, and there's been a couple more bits that I've kind of seen released, since then. So I mean, on 43 Rumors, they've got these images, these kind of leaked images, and I did see pop up in YouTube. There was this video that is supposedly from Lumix Indonesia. I mean, you've got to take all this stuff with a pinch of salt because somebody might have just made this. You could quite easily do an AI generation of what a GH7 would look like based on this, because it's basically the GH6 with a 12 to 60 Lumix or a 12 to 60 Leica lens on it. So it's not it wouldn't be particularly difficult, but at the same time, I think these have just been pulled from this because they're all square images, which is a bit odd. You wouldn't really expect to have square images from any kind of press release shots. So I think probably what they've done is just kind of pinched them from this and probably removed these edges from it. So this is essentially it's a YouTube short that somebody has sort of screen captured and then reposted from kind of Lumix Indonesia. I'll play it just without the sound. So essentially all it is like a run, like a few sort of product shots of what the GH7 looks like. So, all we're looking at there, like I say, is essentially a GH6. I can't see any differences there. I mean, I might be wrong, but that body design looks exactly the same. But then this is sort of the interesting bit. So this kind of pops up, and it's not real text, but because I've basically got nothing better to do with my time, clearly. So I put it into Google Translate to see sort of what comes up there, and you can see it just kind of rifles through a few things, and some of it obviously you can pick out and you sort of understand. But essentially, there we're looking at a GH6 body, but as a GH7, and then this is sort of what it came out as when I sort of put it into Indonesian conversion into sort of UK text, or into English. That would make more sense. So it sort of says, with a sophisticated 25.2 megapixel BSI CMOS sensor, essentially, it sounds like we're just looking at what G9 Mark II sensor probably in there, or very similar to that. So we've got that PDAF, and then it sort of goes through, what are the advantages of it. I mean, interestingly, we haven't got, it doesn't actually say in there anything about PDAF, but it does go through and it kind of says that's actually that was my fault. It's not a 320-bit float. So it says, what are the advantages of the GH7? It's the world's first 32-bit float audio recording. And then it does actually say with the XLR2 mic adapter. So currently we've got the XLR1 mic adapter. And then obviously what Lumix have done is done a refresh of the XLR1. If you don't know what it is, I'll just show you quickly. So it's essentially... we'll just go through it on we can just grab it on the Panasonic the loan site. So you can see it's just like this top box, fits onto the hot shoe, and you can plug in an XLR mic onto the top of that. So obviously you've just got a 3.5mm port on the camera, no XLR. So it's a second version of that has 32-bit float. So really, that's just a product accessory refresh. I'd be very surprised if this doesn't work with other cameras, because I mean, I don't know if there's something internally that has to work to make that happen. I'm not totally sure about that. But yeah, anyway, that's through a third-party piece of equipment, so that's an extra few £100 or dollars if you want to actually utilise that. And then you've got in here Apple ProRes RAW internal recording, and that's what, other rumour sites have kind of hinted at. So some people are a bit disappointed about that because they wanted to see internal B-RAW. For that, you're still going to have to use the Blackmagic Video Assist external monitor, and you can do it that way. So, I'm assuming it's going to have that over HDMI. It'd be a bit bizarre if they dropped that functionality, and I assume you'd probably still be able to record out to an Atomos if you wanted to. But yeah, internal ProRes RAW, nothing there about what frame rates, what video sizes, resolutions can actually be shot in that, but to some extent there would be internal raw recording. 4K 120 100 and 5.8K 30 to 25p open gate. So I mean, this is obviously a bit disappointing for anyone that owns a GH6 because there's no upgrade there. That's just the same. So anyone that was looking for like higher 4K frame rates, they're not there. Anyone that was looking for open gate 60, it's not there. I mean, again, take this with a pinch of salt because this is just from a reel that someone's grabbed. You know, they're not real specs. We'll obviously find out later, but you know, from this is kind of what's there. So it's you know, if that is the specs for it, that's a bit disappointing really, but you know, it is what it is, I suppose. Proxy recording, Frame IO, again, not particularly exciting. That's just a firmware update that's happened for the, you know, for the latest cameras. And then that's it. That's kind of the end of it. So I mean, really, we are just looking at a rehash of the GH6 if this is the you know, this is it. I mean, I don't know why they've kind of, the one thing that makes me think this maybe isn't right is just the fact that they've completely brushed over the fact that it's going to have face detect autofocus, which, you know, that's got to be one of the main things that they kind of shout about, you'd think, in this, surely, but that's sort of not happened. But you can see anyway, you know, it runs through, we've got the same camera body there. Whether this is right or not, who knows? It's but yeah, you can see all of this is kind of like in this supposed leak of a YouTube short that, yeah, I don't know if it got scheduled wrong, if it's true or what, but you know, that's what's sort of there. But we'll have to wait till later to kind of see what the what the real specs are. So you can see, like, in the on this now, we're only like 12 hours to go, so we've not got long to wait, and I'll probably do like a first impressions type video of what's there. I'm sort of hoping some of this is not true because it will be a bit disappointing if it is, but you know, we'll see. I mean, if this was the you know, the actual specs for it, what would your kind of thoughts on that be? Do you feel like that's kind of a worthy upgrade? I feel like if you're you know, if you're in the G9 Mark II, you're probably not in the market to buy a GH7. If you've got the GH6, I feel like this isn't really that great an upgrade with these specs. Like I say, they could potentially be wrong, but you know, if you're in sort of GH5 or GH5 Mark II territory, then this is a decent upgrade. Or even, you know, you could be using like the GH4, and then this then becomes a very attractive upgrade, I think, from there. But yeah, let me know what you think.